got the latest on Tee Higgins right here on Titans Today as he talks about Tennessee for the first time. He was asked, and well, his answer was pretty nice. I will say this, we've talked about Tee Higgins, and honestly, the response here on Titans Today has been they want him in Tennessee. So let's keep that response going. I want to know who wants Tee Higgins as a Tennessee Titan in 2024. So if you are sitting there, you're watching this video, and you're thinking, I'd love to see Tennessee have Tee Higgins next year, well, then do me a favor, hit that like button, get down there, it takes a couple seconds. I want to try and get the 200 likes for Tee Higgins because, man, I would love to see him in the Navy and baby blue. I want him in Tennessee. Bring the kid home, and, man, I would love to see him. Now it goes to the report. Where exactly did he say this? What happened? Well, it was at the Super Bowl. He was asked, saying, what would it be like playing for the Tennessee Titans? He said, quote, it would be good going home and playing with a coach that I've already been under. It would be ideal. Yes, please, come on, T. I want you to be a Tennessee Titan, and I think I share that sentiment with all of the Titans fans in Tennessee because, listen here, Tennessee deserves Tee Higgins. Tee Higgins deserves Tennessee. It's a match made in heaven. You have Brian Callahan as offensive coordinator. This all just makes sense. Ran Carthon, you got to get it done. Now, why exactly does it make sense? Well, he grew up in Tennessee. You've heard me mention it. Grew up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, near Knoxville, and he won Mr. Football in Tennessee 2 years, which got him a Tennessee Titans jersey. He took photos in the Titans locker room. Man, it just makes sense. On top of which I mentioned Brian Callahan. That was the offensive coordinator for the Bengals this past season. Now, he's the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. And it just kind of fits because Brian Callahan really was a growth in Tee Higgins. He allowed him to continue to grow. And even with Jamar Chase, 2 1,000-yard seasons for Tee Higgins in his 4 years, and he came just short of 1,000 yards in his rookie year. Tee Higgins would be lovely to have because his wide receiver room has been a little bit shy of that, and you add him to a room that includes DeAndre Hopkins. Think about this duo. Tee Higgins had a down year this year, only playing in 12 games, yet he still had 656 yards, averaged 15.6, and I talked to you about this a lot. I'm an average guy. I like to see the averages up there. 15.6 is impeccable, and then 12 games having 5 touchdowns is pretty dang good. 42 receptions. His targets to receptions ratio, really good. If you had Hopkins and Tee Higgins next year, it would just be a big boost. Adding T, I think, is the major thing that we're trying to get at here. The wide receiver core has been, I'm not going to say subpar, but after the A.J. Brown trade, everything is kind of just, well, gone for a loop, I think is the best way to say it. Now, if you look at next year's room, you have DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks under contract. DeAndre Hopkins in that second year of his 2-year contract. The free agents, though, Nick Westbrook-Akine and Chris Moore, both of which had probably bigger roles than Treylon Burks. Now, obviously, Kyle Phillips was a really good addition this year. You'll see him probably jump up to wide receiver 3, but I'm interested to see what they do with Treylon Burks. But either way, Tee Higgins is going to be a huge part of this team. And honestly, given the the Titans have $80 million, it's going to be a free agency race for Ran Carthon. You have a lot of money, you have a top 10 pick, and ultimately you have a team that is going to be competing in one of the toughest divisions in all of the NFL. You talk about the AFC South. You've got C.J. Stroud with the Texans, who just made the playoffs after going 3 wins in the year ago. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who didn't make the playoffs this year, but they have T-Law. They have a lot of good pieces there, and they were in the playoffs just 2 years ago. And then on top of which, you look at all this and think, is that not enough other than the Colts having Anthony Richardson, who, by the way, looked great in the couple games we saw him and then proceeded to get hurt? Yet Gardner Minshew led that team to almost a playoff run. Listen, this AFC South division is going to be tough, and Ran Carthon's going to need to spend some money to make some money. So we'll have to see what it is, but I'm telling you, we want to see the Titans play good, and hopefully we can go watch them too. So guess what? Why don't you go watch them by going to Game Time and getting your tickets there? You can get $20 off your first purchase if you go to Game Time and use code TITANSCHAT. Titans Chat is the way to get that $20 off. Game Time has a ton of amazing deals, like last-minute ticket deals. They've got flash deals. They've got zone deals. And the cool thing is, it's not just for sports. They've got music. They've got concerts. They've got theater events. They've got comedy events. pretty much everything you could want. Game Time has you covered. Anything in the area. You see, if you're living in the Nashville area, well, the Preds, they're playing pretty good. They'll catch a couple hockey games on the ice. And then you can also, the Laney concert coming up in just a couple of days. You can still go get tickets for that. And it's really simple because they have Apple Pay, as you see there. So you can get your tickets in literally less than 2 clicks. So here's what you're going to do. Download the Game Time app, go create an account, and use code TitansChat for $20 off that first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and use code TITANSCHAT. Titans Chat for $20 off that first purchase. Game Time's going to have you the lowest price guarantee. Let's talk about the top Titans free agents here for 2024. Now, I've gone through this list a lot, but I think it's important to note that a bunch of these guys are, again, defense. Christian Fulton, I believe, will not be re-signed. It seems like his time is over. It just seemed like he never fit, and maybe he just needs a fresh start. But either way, he did not work in Tennessee. Derrick Henry, it's still a question on whether or not he will come back. Brian Callahan obviously loves him, would love to have that tier running back in his system. Don't know what's going to go on there. We've had kind of numerous reports, some saying he's going to stay, some saying he's going to not go. Azeez Al-Shaair, I would be surprised if he does not re-sign with the Tennessee Titans. I'm expecting him to be a top priority, along with Danico Autry. I think those two are pretty good locks to become Titans for 2024, and hopefully for years longer. I'm expecting probably a 2-year deal for Azeez, maybe a 3-year deal for Danico Autry. But that last one, that's the one I want to focus on, Sean Murphy-Bunting. Now, I mentioned the Titans have $80 million, and so with the secondary being a problem this year, is Sean Murphy worth it given his stats this year and the way he played? Well, I took a deeper dive into this to kind of see how much he would be worth and really how well he played this season. Well, 2 interceptions, 8 passes defended, and then you had 2 touchdowns allowed in there. 91.8 passer rating when targeting, which is not great, but not bad. I think the stats get a little better when we look at the completion percentage when targeting, 63.8. That's pretty good for a cornerback. The coverage grade and the run grade, I'm not going to say are ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but I think the thing that Sean Murphy-Bunting brought to the Titans that was kind of lacking was just experience and overall the big playability. He seemed like he made some key plays and key times. Now, what his projected contract would be just about a 1-year deal around $5 to $6 million, which is not bad, but I think that the Titans are looking to go for a top-tier cornerback room this year. So is it worth it to get $6 million and get Sean Murphy-Bunting, or are you going to save that $6 million and try to push it to someone else? That's the question I open up to you right now. Would you re-sign Sean Murphy? I want you to let me know in the comment section down below. I want you to type S for sign if you're re-signing him. I want you to type P for pass. Sean Murphy-Bunting, an interesting topic here on Titans Today. Let me know in the comment section. I'll give you a quick second. Go down there. You'll get hit with a YouTube ad break. Just go down there, put in Y, put in S, put in P. By the time you scroll back up, guess what? That ad's going to be over anyway. Let's talk about the free agents and who the Titans should get. Obviously, we started off this show with Tee Higgins, and I want to put him at the back end of this as well because he is the top guy for the Tennessee Titans. And ultimately, it's the obvious first choice. Why? Well, because of everything I've already mentioned. Grew up in Tennessee. Brian Callahan, the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans are in need of a wide receiver. I mean, especially since in the term of long run here, DeAndre Hopkins has just 1 year left on his deal, and he's getting up there in terms of wide receiver age. So are you going to be willing to rest all your loyals on him? Or are you going to try and bring in a guy like Tee Higgins and maybe sign him to a 4-year deal, a 3-year deal even? Get somebody who can maybe put on a bigger deal, I think is what I'm saying, to have him as a lock on your team for the next couple years. Now, again, I mentioned the secondary and how it's bad, and Murphy-Bunting being a cornerback is good, but you got to think about the safeties in the situation as well. And I think safety is going to be a big point of contention on the way Ran Carthon spends his money. Obviously, Brian Callahan going to make sure the offense is well endowed before his defense because, as he said, the touchdown scores are more important than anybody else. But guess what? Antoine Winfield Jr. on the defense, he could be a touchdown scorer. He was an absolute turnover machine this year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 6 forced fumbles, recovering for 3 interceptions. And he was the leader of a pretty solid Tampa Bay defense that got into the divisional round, taking down the Philadelphia Eagles in round 1 of the NFL playoffs. Now, Antoine is a little bit of an older guy, not too old for his age, but still, I think this is one of those experienced type guys that you could sign for 2-3 years and would be a good addition to a defense that really struggled in terms of turning the ball over, or forcing turnovers, that is. So I'm curious to see what Ran Carthon does in terms of defense. It's part of me that thinks he's going to re-sign Aziz, re-sign the Nico Autry. Obviously, you have Jeffrey Simmons, so that line will be fine with Autry and Simmons. Potentially draft a defensive lineman, but the secondary. Is Ran Carthon and Brian Callahan going to go spend some money on it, or are they going to try and maybe get some guys in the draft? It'll be kind of curious to see what they do. But I will tell you this. If they make a move, well, we ought to cover right here. So make sure you subscribe, because I want some big moves. And I've heard that if you subscribe to Titans Today, that makes it to where the Titans are more likely to then make some big moves in free agency. Trust me. Just hit that subscribe button, and who knows? When free agency opens up here in a little bit, make some big moves happen. So go down there. We're putting out Titans content every single day. You're not going to want to be anywhere else than right here for your Titans NFL content. Let's talk about the third guy to talk about, and that is Trent Brown, the offensive tackle. Now, Trent Brown is one of those guys that is going to be hailed as the top offensive tackle free agent in this offseason. Why? Well, because he was an exceptional guy all around the field and ultimately put together a really solid season with a Patriots team who struggled. His overall PFF rank was great at 80.2, and if you're kind of confused, PFF rank 80 doesn't seem that good, here's what I'm going to relate it to, and the best way to say this. Add 10 points, that's basically the grade. So for grades here, Trent Brown getting about an A, a little over A. His pass blocking rate, about a B+, but his run blocking, 80. That's what you want. 2 penalties and only 3 sacks allowed. Trent Brown played exceptional. Kind of on the lower end in terms of price. I mean, Tyrone Smith is going to be the guy that everybody's going to want to go after. Trent Brown, the secondary option, but still a high priority for a lot of teams. So I'm expecting him to be a hot commodity on the free agent market. Then the last one, we've talked about him before, but I wanted to bring him back up. Patrick Queen. And I think I bring this up more or less to say that the linebacker core is great. But imagine the linebacker core with Azeez Al-Shaair and Patrick Queen as your two. I would rank that as a top-tier linebacking core as soon as Queen signed the contract. But at the same time, the money issues are there. What exactly is Ran Carthon going to do with the money? Well, I guess we'll have to find that out. But I want you to be Ran Carthon right now. If you had to pick one of these 4 agents, who are you signing? Are you signing Tee Higgins like we've kind of talked about? Is he the top priority for sure? Are you going to get Trent Brown, given the issues of, the offensive line this year? Are you going to try and bolster up the secondary with Antoine Winfield Jr. and hopefully maybe get the safeties in check? Or are you spending your money on a linebacker to try and make Azeez Al-Shaair and Patrick Queen the new dynamic duo in the NFL in terms of linebacker core? Well, get in the comment section and let me know which free agent you are picking. As always, hit that subscribe button, Titans fans, because, again, we have Titans coverage all throughout the offseason, and the draft is now about to come up. Listen, the NFL season is officially over. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. They get their victory. And now we have to sit here and wait toward draft season and look at, all right, what's up next for the NFL? It's the draft. We're going to keep you covered all season long. So with that subscribe button, Titans fans who made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. And, hey, as always, Titans fans, type it in the comments with me. Tighten up.